Hey there, it's Deanna, your friendly neighborhood or this corner of the internet neighborhood life coach and personal trainer. And today on Lunch with a Life Coach, I'm going to give you some prompting questions and some ideas around the sticky place we find ourselves in sometimes when we have to make a decision. And we're really not sure the decision is before us. It might be something large, something small, in the middle, but whatever that is, it's important to you and you really want to take the right next step. So here are a couple of things for you to think about. If you are facing that decision, you've kind of mulled it over and you think, I don't know where to turn next. You could start with calling or recalling some of the situations or a situation in the past that might be similar to this. So the decision you're facing, when have you faced something similar, but maybe in a different capacity or in a different area? So perhaps you're dealing with some kind of relationship challenge with a coworker. And you could think about perhaps, have you ever had a similar relationship challenge or that kind of conflict in a different relationship? Maybe it's a friend or a family member. And what were some of the strategies that you maybe used there? Okay. So, first thing to think about, have you ever experienced this before or something close to it? Second, if you haven't, if you don't have the experience to recall or call upon, what about somebody you know? Has somebody else in your life, whether again it's work life or home or family, whatever the case is, whatever would be professional and correct in terms of those guidelines, right? We may not ask a coworker something personal, but where you feel comfortable in asking, is there somebody in your life that you know that has faced a similar challenge, that has had to make a similar tough decision, and maybe ask them about their process? How did they reach? Not, what should I do? Should I do this or should I do that? Because when we ask people in our lives about that decision, like, should I do this or this, even though they're, out of the goodness of their heart, they're trying to help, their decision is informed and their advice is informed by the relationship with you. So if, you were to ask your mom about something, well, your mom's going to want you to make the decision that might be safest, even though it might not be the one that you want, right? So I really want you to think about, have they, that person or people, have they been in a similar situation, and not asking advice about what you should do, but what was their process to help them make their decision to move forward? Okay. Another idea for you to ponder is something in the coaching space we use called the decision balance process. And this is like a good old pros and cons list, but it has an extra layer that I love. So the pros and cons list, right? Write down all the positives of making this change. So if you are deciding, let's say the decision is, you're looking at changing jobs. So you start with the pros. What are all the good things about this new job? Then you make the cons, right? What are the not so good things about this job? Now, here's the next thing I want you to think about in the next layer of a decision balance process. Draw yourself a little four square diagram there, if you're a diagram person, if you like that. And in the one corner or the one square, it'll be, what are the positive things about making this change? That's what we were just mentioning, right? Changing the job. What are the good things? Then what the second square, so go across the second square, what are the not so good things about making the change? Okay, we already got that. I know we talked about that already. I just want you to put it in a little chart right now so you can start to look at it, because visually sometimes that can be really useful. When you see it out on the paper before you, you can really make a bit of a difference. Sometimes things look a little bit different, right? So what do you do with those other two boxes in the bottom of your decision balance chart? Well, the bottom line, I want you to think about, what would be the positives of you staying where you are? So again, if we're talking about a new job, for example, what are the positives of you staying put? That is, you don't take that new job, you stay where you are. Okay. And then finally, that last square in your decision balance is to say, what are the not so good things about staying where you are? Okay. So that review that process. What are the positives, top corner, up in the top corner? What are the positives about making the change, taking the new job? Across, what are the negatives or the not so good things about changing jobs? Okay. So if you were to take the job, what are the things that might be not so good? Perhaps now this new job has a commute, for example, so it's more time away from home, as an example, right? Then review again that bottom corner. What are the positives of staying in the job you're in or staying put? You could use this decision balance for any situation. But in this example, what are the positives about staying put? Finally, that bottom corner, and they're not, in any particular order, that the top is better or the bottom. I want you to consider all the squares. So finally, you're going to think about what are the not so good things about staying in the job that you're in. Okay. So that decision balance process can actually be really useful to sort of lay things out differently than you might have done before. Okay. So you've got 3 options so far. Fourth option, fourth question to ask, fourth source, that's tongue twister, fourth source of information in supporting you in making this tough decision. Is there a professional in your life, in your circle that you know, maybe think back to when you were in high school. Was there a guidance counselor that you could speak to? Currently, do you have a sort of guidance counselor role in your life? Do you have a coach, whether it's a life coach, a business coach, who is in the professional space? So I don't mean asking your friend, asking your parent, asking your uncle, because again, as I mentioned, when we look to take advice from people that are not really impartial, as a coach would be and should be, a coach helps you to say, do that decision balance, right? Take all the emotion out of it. What are the good, not so good, etc., impartially. As a coach, I just want you to be successful. I don't, when I say I don't care, I mean, I'm not invested in the decision. So if you choose to take that new job or not, I just want you to be happy, right? I want you to get where you want to go. And so your coach or that professional should be impartial. They're not tied to just making the decision or not. Does that make sense? So that's the difference between asking a friend, phoning a friend, if you remember that old TV show, asking a friend, and that's the difference between the friend and asking a professional. Now, the last 2 things, my friends, I want you to think about, this can be, these last 2 pieces can be a bit tricky, but here's what I really want you know that I'm big on self-awareness and really calling ourselves out on things that are really standing in our way. Many times when we are trying to move forward in a goal, whether that be a life goal, a business goal, career, fitness, whatever, we are often the source of the thing that's in the way, or at least part of the thing that's in the way, okay? So with that in mind, the 5th option for you to ask or kind of dig into is, do you know the answer to this already, but you just don't want to say it out loud? That in our example we've been using, taking that new job, leaving where you are, that's the right decision, but it's going to might be uncomfortable to, give your, hand in your notice, resign from your job. It's often scary to start something new. But that's a real possibility. You already know the answer. So if, I was to say, you have 10 seconds to decide and take the job, don't take the job, 5, 4, 3. Oh, that's only 5 seconds, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what would you say, right? Do you know that answer? Okay, that could be. And then the final one digs a little bit deeper. That could be even a little bit more uncomfortable. Do you just want somebody else to decide for you? I know that one can be a little bit uncomfortable. If you have had someone or people in your life that have kind of made the decisions and you haven't really had to choose for yourself, whether that be, parents, friends, family, a career, a boss that micromanaged, that you never really had to make a decision, you just kind of went with the flow. Do you not want to decide? Do you want somebody else to decide? Because, excuse me, with that decision, then you actually aren't quite responsible for the consequences. If somebody else said, yes, leave that job, that's it, quit that job, go get a new job, and they were the person that really, ultimately, you are deciding, but, if you were to say, well, so-and-so told me that, that was the right move. This counselor, this person, my friend told me that that was the right move. If it doesn't work out, you still get to blame that person, right? That is the cycle in which a lot of folks get stuck when they want somebody else to decide, or they have somebody else to decide, because you're not really on the hook, or you might feel like you're not on the hook for any kind of consequence, right? So lots of things to ponder, and that's why it's on video. You can pause, you can go back, you can jump ahead. So there were 6 things really to think about if you're stuck in that sort of in the middle spot of not sure what to decide, or not sure which path to take, if you will. Those can help you work through. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, topics which you'd like me to cover, send me a message, Deanna at deannalangfordcoaching.com. Pop over and give a follow here on Lunch with a Life Coach, and you'll be notified, of course, immediately as new episodes come out. Or pop over to my website, deannalangfordcoaching.com, and you can subscribe there, and you get all the weekly goodies delivered right to you across all platforms and all services that I offer. We will see you back soon. Have a great day, and get that decision made to get you moving. Cheering you on. See you soon.